Oh my god, chat. I think H3 Snark just proved something, that Ethan was lying about Hasan having a secret housekeeper. Funny Ethan TikTok? Okay, hold on. We're about to go on the Ethan Klein is a dumb fuck.
And when we were done, I saw this kid. I wanted to say sorry for taking out your parents, but I don't speak terrorist, so I wanted to give the kid a lollipop, but then the kid pulled out a teddy bear.
Go ahead
what
and
people
try
don't
it,
know
man.
is bears are really dangerous. They have sharp claws and teeth. Yeah, bears are dangerous, dude. Bears kill what, like 80,000 people a year?
Yeah.
And yet Hasan and his fans want you to pick the bear over the man in the woods? Give me a break, dude. What a joke. Yeah, way to protect women over there, Hasan. What a bunch of fuck. Okay, are we back? So anyway, what'd you do? Right. And you know, I was scared for my life, so I just opened fire. And when we were done...
Holy shit, average H3 posts. Okay, so I wanted to cover this because it's part of showing you why Ethan Klein is a lying scumbag. And some people think the best strategy, if you're one of those people who is mad at me for talking about Ethan Klein, I would like to tell you to go fuck yourself. I know that you want to have your cozy little stream back where Hasan just talks about exactly what you want him to talk about and ignores the people that are trying to deplatform him, but shut your fucking mouth, you fucking loser. How about that? Eat shit. Fuck you. How about that? Because these people are trying to get us banned, you dumb asshole. So when we take them on and fuck them up and cause their, you know, I don't want you to watch Ethan Klein. If you're a fan of mine, unsubscribe from Ethan Klein. I don't want you to watch him. I want to make it very uncomfortable for you to be an Ethan Klein fan here. I don't want you to be an Ethan Klein fan. He's trying to get us. He's trying to ban us. He's trying to get us put in prison. He's trying to work with Tom Cotton and Donald Trump and whoever the else he can. He's working with Keemstar. He's working with Destiny. He is trying to hurt us in real life. Shut your fucking mouth. Okay? He got Frogan banned for 30 days. He got Denim's banned for 30 days. He got a Jewish man banned for 30 days for being an anti-Semitic. Do you understand how stupid this is? It was all made up. Shut your fucking mouth. This isn't drama. He is trying to go after all of us on the left. If you want your cozy stream, go make one. I was a fan before the whole leftovers fallout, at which point I went to Hasan's and ended up here as well. For the longest time, I did everything to avoid hearing about him, but almost after 2 years, I love it. Every little part of it. Fuck him and his bullshit. Thank you. It's the classic cry bully. So much for the tolerant left. I'm not tolerant. I'm not tolerant. Fuck you. And if you're one of those people who is like, Mike is doing drama, Denims is doing drama. No, we're not. We're standing up for ourselves, you asshole. Both of us have gotten banned because of this fucking guy. And you know what's happening? As we fight back, it's helping our channels. More people are here for politics because I stood up to Ethan. More people are in a Denim stream because we stood up to Ethan. Hasan's stream is growing again because he stood up to Destiny and Ethan. When he didn't, he was hurting. You're just wrong. And we're still talking about politics. We're still talking about the shit we want to talk about. We're standing up to our enemies. Shut your fucking mouth, you bitch. You are the people that hurt our channels the most. You're not in charge of us. Shut your fucking mouth. And I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to do what Hasan and Denims and I decide we want to do. If we decide we're done talking about this motherfucker, we're going to be quiet about him, then we're going to be quiet about him. I'm going to follow the lead. We're going to work collectively. We're going to figure out what we do. We're going to do it. Okay? I'm not going to listen to you whiny Discord fucking losers crying about this shit. Fuck you. Okay? Fuck you who come into the chat and complain. Shut up. Shut your fucking mouth. We're going to take these scumbags on because if they get their way, we won't exist as streamers. We're content creators. I've talked about politics for thousands of hours. Why am I aggressive? Because nobody is aggressive on the left. Everybody is marshmallow and cotton candy. We need a couple people that have sharp elbows. We need a couple people that are going to stand up and be like, nah, fuck you. And guess what? Different strokes for different folks. If you feel like I'm being too aggressive, you can say, hey, Mike, I think you're coming across as too aggressive here because X, Y, and Z. That's fine.
But anyway, it wasn't his mom.
You've explained to me the situation.
But anyway, it wasn't his mom. Because I was shocked, frankly, when I saw her. So I asked him questions. I was like, how do you, like, is she, I think she's undocumented, which is, I don't know for sure, but that was my impression. Because he said he got the recommendation from someone he knows. And not that there's anything, in my opinion, wrong with hiring undocumented workers for certain things. But it's funny because people say, oh, Ethan's being sued by his employee. And now he's talking about Hasan has a migrant. Well, I'll tell you this. At least my employee can sue me. His undocumented worker has no legal recourse. He's just got to shut up and fucking smile.
First of all, Ethan Klein is dumb as fuck. That's not even true. That's not even true. You could be sued by an illegal immigrant. What the fuck is he talking about? Anybody who's in the United States has the right to sue you. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
That is an interesting point. Like, I understand.
Dan, that's an interesting point. Hey, guys, remember when people thought Dan was a leftist? His self-respect was less than his paycheck.
Like, so...
If
I mean, obviously,
if I really wanted to take advantage of people, I would have gone and got myself an undocumented worker to clean my house.
Right. So you've explained to me the situation with your former.
You've explained to me the situation with your former housekeeper, and so you take his side. You take the multi-millionaire capitalist side, huh, Dan?
I met her. She's a lovely Hispanic lady.
And I haven't been
Let's
losing
see who was with Hasan the day before Ethan visited.
a lot of weight, except for the past couple of weeks. Like, the more proximity I have to my parents being here and living with me, the easier it gets to actually lose weight. People are saying that people can't buy these on the website. That's my brother.
Oh, your bro.
Yeah.
She doesn't speak English. She cleans and cooks, works full time, I believe. Hasan grunts and uses Google to talk to her.
My dad communicates in the United States of America with grunts. Okay? Outside of the house, first of all, he's only speaking Turkish. But outside of the house, he's just grunting. Like, he never speaks English. He can speak English, refuses to.
Okay.
She seems to not be on his utopian socialist pay plan, where everyone is entitled to the means of their production.
I guess you can know someone's income based on their appearance. Yeah, she wasn't wearing that Teddy Fresh, so she must be an illegal.
A ton of time for Hasan to stream, works in his home, very clearly part of his production. Judging from what I saw, she's probably making slightly above minimum wage. It just shows the obvious hypocrisy and total insincerity of Hasan's socialism. He also tells everyone that visits to never mention her for, quote, obvious reasons. Literally, I don't care about sharing anything confidential.
It's probably his mom, and he doesn't want people to mention his mom. No proof at all.
Because pretty much pretty clearly expressed our friendship was a farce.
They were never going to... Oh, my God. Scum art. He's very quick with it. The fastest in the fucking game.
Oh, Ethan mistook this housekeeper who doesn't speak English is for his mom. He's so racist. He can't tell the difference between a migrant Hispanic lady and Hasan's mom. No,
that's not water. It's a Pocari Sweat. It's like a Gatorade. It doesn't have to be. I mean, it would be better if it's cold. Yes. Şekerlama baba. Haberin olsun. Anyway, there's a lot of movement happening. What is going on, Mom? Oh my God. I don't know what the fuck is going on. She left the garage, the gate, the doors that are like out to the public just open. Just left every door open and was calling me simply to inform me that every door is open. I'm like, Mom, you have the keys. Like, you literally left the gate key. You left all the gates open, and you're just informing me that you left the gates open? There's 2 dogs in the house.
I guess they
But anyway, it
deleted
wasn't.
it now. I
I
guess
met
they
her.
deleted it.
She's a lovely Hispanic lady.
I guess they decided to just delete it, huh?
They really think his mom is the one cooking all that chicken, as if she's not a sentient being with life of her own. They think she's in his house 24/7, day in, day out, cooking his meals, if she has no clue about life.
Same shit that Donald Trump did when he turned around and said, what?
Correct me if I'm wrong, but the president hasn't spoken yet with...
My mom's doing an online class and an online lecture, and apparently her students can hear me.
Surprising, less than 2
She
weeks
can't
into
wear
an administration.
headphones
He hasn't
and-
called every foreign leader yet. He certainly would love to
So I
spend
gotta be
time
more
talking to foreign
quiet
leaders.
for the
That's,
time being.
You know, his first love is...
Ethan obviously implied. Hasan told him he has a personal chef. Actually, no, I met her. She's his housekeeper that does everything for him.
Hell yeah, brother. Thank you, Mom. Already listening to it over here, so we can be on the same frequency.
What is this, dude?
What do you mean?
That's it 6 minutes.
Mom, I'm gaming with T-Pain.
The shitty thing about the cruise is
I'm gonna do MasterChef style. Okay, are you ready?
It's a surprise.
That's it?
That's it. It's Mom's surprise.
You're not gonna tell me? What is it? You said it's curry based?
Yes, it's a curry of some sort, but it's something just very simple, actually. It's a simple curry, let's say.
Have you peeked?
The mouth sounds
Yes, chef. So how did I do, chef?
No, Mom, this is really good. This is really good. It's delicious. Thank you. Okay. It's stunning. It's delicious. It's scrumptious. It's gorgeous.
Afiyet olsun. You want
So-
Diet Coke?
I have one here. Thank you.
Okay, good.
All right. My mom is so cute. Some of my haters will like see something fake about me and get mad. Like they'll be like, "Oh, dude, you didn't pay your editor or you didn't pay your producer," and then they get duped. And then when they get called out, they go, "Oh, well, this says a lot about society that I could believe it, though." And it's like, no, it doesn't say anything about.
It's sadder when you realize that Hasan sometimes skips gaming to hang out and watch movies with his mom at night while Ethan edits content, chart, and browse Diddy G subreddit. Yeah. Ethan Klein. Thank you, H3 Snark, for these great clips.
His house knows this lady. Cutie Cinderella.
That he came up with ahead of time, which I think is brilliant and bold and beautiful. I'm so proud of you. Yeah, I don't. To what end? I do not know. What the fuck? What is all that? What the hell is this?
Happy
Birthday to you.
Austin.
I walk into Hasan's house, Cutie. There is an elaborate Roman-style fruit spread on the counter.
Oh my God.
My mom made it.
So
You have an
naturally,
insatiable appetite.
20 minutes later, I've eaten like 50 to 100 grapes.
Okay.
At this point. So Hasan says, like a 12-year-old, he's like, I'm going to tell my mom.
Yeah.
And you know what she says? That's fine.
Oh.
And then she proceeds to give me more food from that they're going to be serving at Thanksgiving.
His mom is the biggest ally on the face of the planet.
Oh my God. Why? Because she unconditionally supports
she
you?
unconditionally supports me.
Will.
People come up to my DMs and they say, "Oh my God, I heard you're the twink guy."
Oh, is your
and
food
I
here?
don't respond.
Sorry, guys, I haven't eaten yet.
I can unlock the door.
That's all right.
So
Carolyn Kwan or whatever her name is. I'm sorry if I don't know her name. I think it's similar, something like that.
To today's segment of America Me Up.
Do you watch this podcast?
I don't.
They all know her.
Great clip.
They all see her. She's there. She works full time.
People are saying that people can't buy these on the website. That's my brother.
Oh, your bro.
Yeah. My little bro's here.
Can you keep him out of my eye line?
Wait, what?
I'm just kidding.
No, he's like worried.
He's too sexy.
Like, he's working on his car out there.
All those people are on Hasan's tit. Let's be real. He is by far the biggest creator, and pushes his weight around too. And they know who butters their bread.
Here's the thing. Moist Critical said it best for me the first year. These guys winning is my worst case scenario. Ludwig winning is my worst case scenario, right? Hasan has nothing good in his life. I hate him.
He might be bigger Swifties than you.
No, I don't like him.
Blob emojis are worse.
I think you're all very talented. I do.
Right,
I
go fuck
genuinely do.
yourself.
No, I do. Like, of course, but it's like
We don't hear that enough from you.
Bless your heart.
We deserved
know?
it though.
She's only saying this because she doesn't want people to know how little people voted for me for just chatting. True. That's what it is.
no, that's not it.
I
mean,
didn't even. I didn't even
You're
vote
great.
this year.
We know.
You didn't?
I don't think
I pushed for Name Your Price more than you did, and more than even Will did.
We all have shortcomings. We don't. I mean, we don't. He streams 12 hours a day. He can't cook his own chicken. I don't blame him. I have a housekeeper.
Yeah, I know. She's suing you. She's suing you for not paying overtime and like not letting her get a hernia surgery that she got from working for you. Can you imagine, like, how low is that? You have a full-time housekeeper who gets physically hurt in your employ, gets a hernia in your employ, and they say, hey, I need some time off and I need reduced work because I need to recover from the hernia. And then you fire them. Like, this is why labor laws exist, right? This is why we want a socialist revolution. This is why we want strong central government rules, because people like Ethan Klein need to be regulated. They need to be fined. They need to be sued. They need to be dealt with by the state authority. Because if you're depending on people like Ethan Klein being nice because they have a lot of money and they're going to be nice to the people around them, you're going to be waiting for a really long time. That's why Ethan Klein is against us. It's political. Like, he's making it personal, but it is actually, the differences between me and Ethan Klein are political. Ethan Klein wants to undermine people like Bernie Sanders who want to have regulations on the rich, who want to have a robust social safety net. His nanny shouldn't have to beg him for time off, or his housekeeper should have to beg him for time off to get hernia surgery. She should just be able to call him up and say, hey, I'm getting hernia surgery. It's paid for by your taxes, Ethan, and I'll be back when I'm better. And Ethan Klein should just have to eat that. That's what we're fighting for. We're fighting for a world where you get to call up your boss and say, I'm having surgery. That's the world we're fighting for. The world where Ethan Klein pays the check, she gets the surgery. And we're going to keep fighting for it, Ethan. And because of your support, I just want to say thank you, Ethan Klein. You are my best friend. Thank you, Ethan Klein. You are my best friend. You are the rent payer. You are the legend. Thank you, Ethan Klein. You are my best friend. You are the rent payer. You are the legend. Thank you, Ethan Klein, for helping push the Central Committee stream to its all-time high. We couldn't have done it without you. Thank you, Ajek, for the 100 gifted subs. Thank you, sir. Oh, man. Oh, my God, chat. Holy shit. We broke into the top 200 largest channels in the world. Oh, my God. Thank you, Ethan Klein. Oh, my God. Top 200. Holy shit. Thank you. That's incredible. And the best part of this is he's going to keep watching. He's going to keep posting. My favorite part of this is he can't control himself. He can't control himself. And because he can't control himself, I'm going to keep winning. And I'm going to stop. I'm like doing backflips in front of him. Thank you, Ethan Klein. I am now in. They call these the power. This is the power places. These top 6 channels. This is where people wander in the most. So now I'm 4th largest just chatting channel live right now in the world. That speaks English anyway. If you get rid of English, I'm sure there's some Spanish speakers and stuff. So I may be like, yeah, so if you include all languages, I'm 15. If you just go to English, I'm 4th. Thank you, Ethan Klein. You are my best friend. You are the legend. Ah, wow. I honest to God didn't know this existed. I swear to God I didn't know this existed. I swear to God. It just spontaneous. This is just great minds thinking alike. I want to give all credit to Bad Empanada. Maybe I watched this and I forgot. I mean, that might have happened.
Greetings. I am the true leader of the YouTube channel that viewers know as Bad Empanada. We at the Bad Empanada Foreign Influence Operation would like to thank Ethan Klein for his help in bringing our operation to prominence. We have long been working to destroy American values, and thanks to his recent actions, our efforts are finally bearing real fruit. As he loses viewers and subscribers, we gain them at an exponential rate, higher than ever before.
Holy shit! Thank you, Ethan Klein. There isn't anybody on the internet that I want to succeed more than Bad Empanada. I like Bad Empanada a lot. I know it's one-sided. I don't care. I don't care. If Bad Empanada likes me or not, he deserves it. He's a good guy. He deserves it. We're happy for him, man.
Before each viewer,
B likes me. B, as far as I know, Bad Empanada likes me, but I think Bad Empanada just hates Twitch streamers because he had bad experiences with like Vouch and shit and Destiny. So he's very suspicious of us, and I totally get it. I respect that. I could probably bring him on stream. I could probably get him to come on stream.
he loses is one less viewer of American propaganda. Each viewer we gain is one more exposed to propaganda. A sleeper agent ready to act on our signal on a moment's notice. The work that Ethan Klein has done recently to help bring down America and Israel has been exemplary, and we thank him greatly. So much so that we even wrote a song for him. Those of us at sincerely hope you enjoy this tune while you wait to hear us utter the code word that will spur you into...
Adam was banned on Twitch, and? What's your point? Oh, he was banned. Oh, he was banned on Twitch? You should apply for unban.
Taking action for our purpose.
That's why I didn't ask him. Oh, shit. You're right. Damn.
Purposes against your will.
Thank you,
Ethan Klein.
You are my best friend. You
destroy the legitimacy of any cause you tie yourself to.
You are the legend. Thank you,
Ethan Klein.
You are my best friend. You are
the living refutation of meritocracy.
You are the legend.
But he looks significantly worse than he did in that picture. Like, he's aging at the speed of white. Like, it's almost, I've never seen anybody age as badly as he has. in the last 6 months. Like he has not been able to sleep. We miss plump Ethan. We really do. I think he's just hangry. Like, I get hangry sometimes. I used to think that I didn't get hangry. But I've been hanging around people that do legitimately get hangry, and it's helped me notice it more in myself. You know when you see somebody do something that you do, and then you get a different perspective on it, and you're like, you know what? Maybe I shouldn't do it. Maybe I shouldn't be doing that. Being around people that do get hangry, it's helped me kind of recognize it in myself. And then I realized it applies to like a lot of other things, a lot of other emotions. Like if I'm frustrated with something else, and then I get frustrated with a different thing, it compounds. You know what I mean? And you'll displace the like both frustrations will get put on one thing. You know, you displace. And like figuring that out about myself and like trying to stop myself from doing that is like one of the next stages of my own personal, emotional, and psychological evolution is to like, don't displace. You know, you need to learn how to get catharsis and you need to silo these different things off from, you know, other people. Like, don't let frustration and anger in one area flow into another area. You have the superpower of self-reflection, yeah. Him and Destiny have become super skinny to the point of malnourishment while simultaneously being overly energetic and all over the place. I wonder why that is. Thank you, Ethan Klein. Millions of dollars in his account. Okay, that's a joke, by the way.
To justify genocide, we've made up atrocity propaganda, for which you have utterly failed to fabricate anything resembling compelling evidence. It's a lot easier to simply scold people into compliance with your narrative rather than actually trying to even remotely prove your narrative.
By the way, chat, I want to be very honest with you. I am farming Ethan Klein for clout and money. I want you to understand that. Like, I am standing up to Ethan Klein because it's good for me and my channel, and it's the right thing to do. So I am doing it for the purpose of growing my channel and winning. Right? Like, I'm going to farm this scumbag. You know, he's going to try to use 6-year-old lies from fucking DGG. I'm going to go right after him, and I'm going to debunk his arguments on Israel and Palestine. Right? He can lie about my political work 11 years ago, and I will tell the truth about how much of a fucking disgusting bigot he is today. And guess what? Nobody cares about me being off the ballot from May 5th to May 22nd, 2014. Why did I get back on the ballot on May 22nd, 2014? Excuse me. Because I won the Democratic primary. Hey, Dan. I won the Democratic primary, Dan. Put that in your pipe and smoke it.
And this is especially the case with the Hamas mass rape hoax. Repeated fake outrage of how dare you deny rape? What, you don't believe women and stuff like that has totally replaced anything resembling actual compelling evidence. And Ethan Klein is such a perfect example of this in his supposed content nuke of Hasan Piker, where he covers the mass rape hoax and tries desperately to try and provide some sort of evidence for it.
I think that one of the things that Bad Empanada doesn't understand is that I don't know how else to put this. We actually are good. It's very easy to be skeptical of like Twitch streamers, and most of them are scum. But Hasan and I actually believe what we're saying. We actually are on the left. We actually do believe what we're saying. We like this isn't. There is a 0% chance we're going to change. That's why I've been right for so long. Like, you can go back and see what I've said over the years, and it's completely consistent. And like, it is what it is. The only time I get things wrong, which is rare, is if I am making a compromise to support a politician. That's the only time I've ever gotten things wrong. I don't think Ethan means what happened, what he says. He's just a troll. Ethan Klein is a DGGer. It's really just that simple. And what I mean by that is the card says moops. You guys know that clip from Seinfeld where it's the Bubble Boy episode and George is playing Trivial Pursuit with Bubble Boy, and there's a question. He has a question for Bubble Boy where he says, well, you know, who invaded Spain? You know, 8th century or 7th century Spain. And the Bubble Boy says, oh, that's easy, the Moors. And he says, ooh, the card says moops. Now, Bubble Boy says, well, that's a misprint. I got it right. It is the Moors invaded Spain. Like, what are you talking about? He's like, no, sorry, the card says moops. Now, does George think that the name of the group that invaded Spain is the moops? No. He's just saying, you can't prove I don't think it's moops. And the card says moops, therefore you don't get the piece. And I win the game. That's Ethan Klein. That's DGG. They don't believe what they're saying. They're just trying to win the game. They're trying to win the debate game. They're trying to win the optics game in the moment. They don't have consistency from point to a point. They're just lying. And they're saying, you can't prove I don't believe dumbass bullshit thing. And that is the bad faith that they're operating on. So what's the point? Because they'll say contradictory shit the very next day. But if it makes it look like they're winning an argument in the moment, they'll use it. And that's Ethan Klein. He doesn't believe in anything he's saying. He doesn't. And that's why he's losing. Because everybody gets that. They don't know how to explain it in the way that I just did. And I got that analogy from a really intelligent content creator, Innuendo Studios. He has a video called The Card Says Moops. If you want to learn more about this kind of alt-right tactic that Destiny and Ethan Klein use, it's just basically they say contradictory shit different days. One day they believe X and one day they believe Y, and X and Y are contradict each other. But the context of the conversation they're having, they believe whatever they need to believe in the moment. All right. And that's why he's constantly going like, oh, Mike for PA and Hasan, this is toxic masculinity. And oh, he was a Republican. Hey, guys, did you know Mike was a Republican in 2012? And it's like, that means he's a bad person. And it's like, no, it just shows you that I was raised in a conservative military family and I changed my own positions through my own life experiences. I am not ashamed of my life. Unlike you, Ethan. What the fuck is Trivial Pursuit? Oh no. You guys don't know what Trivial Pursuit is.
And utterly and completely fails. He actually straight up has to lie about the evidence that he is showing, make zero effort to even critically assess it, and even completely mischaracterizes the, wrongly I might add, conciliatory stance of Hasan Piker, who he's supposedly critiquing. So let's go over that. So let's watch this, and it's going to be a perfect example of precisely what I said, which is the replacement of evidence.
By the way, chat, and this is where Bad Empanada is so valuable. Because Hasan adopts a certain type of rhetorical position for the purpose of respectability and risk minimization, right? So, when we concede, for example, that, Hamas as a irregular military force is not going to maintain discipline, and almost certainly there are going to be instances of sexual harm and assault, we are conceding a lot when we say that. Because we're kind of lowering the burden of proof. But that is because, statistically, that is almost certainly going to happen. And we can't for sure. It's millions of people interacting. There's going to be bad people that do bad shit. right? And to deny that puts us, then we can get called out later. So we concede this point, which is a logically consistent and almost certainly true point. But for the purpose of like proving an individual actually suffered harm, it doesn't concede that.
But he's not going to deny the violent rapes that took place. That is way.
The violent rapes that took place, right? Ethan doesn't need any evidence for that. He just states it, no proof needed. I said so. You know, Israeli media says so. Other Zionist propagandists say so. That's sufficient, right? We
beyond the pale.
There is one instance in captivity that we have actually gotten verifiable evidence on. Beyond that, the systematized mass rapes that Hamas dealt on October 7, not a single bit of that has been verified.
So the systematized mass rapes that Hamas supposedly did on October...
Why is he playing clown music? Instead of like saying, actually, we have proven it, and here's the evidence. Destiny, Vaush, who's K? Oh, Keffels and Ethan were all DGG aligned serial liars whose main goal became destroying or surpassing Hasan, destroy the online anti-imperialist and socialist left. Exactly correct, Wop Goblin. That's why do you think I hated Destiny and Vaush so early? Because I understood their politics and I opposed their politics. That's why like so many other people were willing to work with Vaush, because they don't care about politics and they're just grifters. And I have used, like, basically the way people acted toward Vaush is my personal way of judging if you're an idiot and if you're bad. Like, and it is bats 1,000. Anybody who likes Vaush is suspect. Did they actually verify a single case? Yes. I think there was one person who claimed not that she was raped, but that she was like forced to perform a sexual act. She didn't really get into it, but I think I'm willing to believe that happened. I don't think that doesn't make the Palestinian genocide justified because one guy committed one crime. That's insane. Vaush is a DGG orbiter? Yes, of course.
7. Not a single bit of that has been verified. That was Hasan Piker's claim there. Remember that because Ethan is going to cite a supposed UN report in favor of him later, which outright says what Hasan says there within it.
And people still run with it over and over and over again.
Many young people who were simply attending a music festival. Women were horrible.
You notice Ethan's strategy here is like play funny music in clips where Hasan, what he's saying is just objectively correct and his reactions are objectively justified because this is bullshit. This is just lies, as we're going to be showing when we debunk Ethan Klein's incredible evidence for this. As I said, it's narrative, fake outrage, scolding you into compliance as a replacement for actual proof and evidence, all in the name of justifying the Gaza genocide, where, to be clear, Israelis have mass-raped Palestinians, something which Ethan Klein himself denies.
I fell for Vaush at first, and he kind of poisoned me toward you at first, but I quickly figured out what kind of person he was, so I decided to check out your content. Now here I am. So how did he poison you against me? I'm very curious, actually. Dr. Felcher, how did he poison you? Go ahead and explain the poisoning, because it's very reflective of these type of guys. What did they do to poison me? Against what did they what was the really bang on argument they were using? I don't reject the fact that rapes may have happened on October 7th. I reject the supposition that all Palestinians are rapists and they should be genocided. Absolutely correct. That's what we're fighting back against. But we also believe in truth. And when Israel is out there saying they did a whole TIF, spite, sewer socialism, wait, but those aren't arguments, though. Sewer socialism is real and important. TIFs are how neoliberals give tax breaks to rich, connected developers. I'm not spiteful. I just hate people that are stupid. That's not spite. I was a Vouch viewer. He rarely ever played clips of you, just called you a moron. Yeah, no shit. That's the same thing with Destiny. Vouch and Destiny never play clips of my arguments. Duh. Neither does Ethan. What Ethan Klein will do is try to find me making some sort of like mean comment about him and killing his dog or whatever and go, look how mean Mike is being. I lost a pet. Think about when you lost a pet. I lost a pet too. I didn't kill my pet by feeding him cheese until he died of sodium overdose. My dog died because he got cancer, and I gave him the best cancer treatment I could. I gave him every possibility of fighting the cancer until it was no longer plausible for him to continue. And that pain is horrible. And I have a lot of empathy for the pain your family went through. But you're still to blame for killing your dog. They tried to make Tiff an inside joke pwn because if you look into it, you would realize that I was completely right on the facts, which is really funny because it's like Tiff it is a specific type of policy. Here's what, all you have to do is go Tiff. Tax increment financing, or TIF, is simple in concept. TIF calls for local taxing bodies to make a joint investment in the development or redevelopment of an area with the intent that any short-term gains be reinvested in leverage so that all taxing bodies will receive larger financial gains in the future. This is, by the way, the neoliberal argument, and it's bad. It's a way that developers don't have to pay taxes. I remember Vouch people making fun of sewer socialism. That's the same exact thing. They always say TIFF because they're confused. They don't know how to, they again, it's not hard to find, right? Like how do Vouchites get confused? Right? You just put TIFF in and it comes back immediately as the top thing. Look, Hemphill aims for TIF for West End apartment project. Environmentalists, Rock Island officials discuss I-280 TIF district redevelopment. Manatee Sea DDA OK's brownfield agreement for Gateway project. Value capture, TIF, understanding tax increment finance. Like if you ever get involved in local development or local politics, it's one of the most important issues is should we grant TIFs to rich people so they don't have to pay taxes? This is, so when I was asking Vouch, hey, do you even know what a TIF is? It's because I was trying to gauge his level of knowledge about local government. He doesn't know anything. And it was like, it was one of those things where they tried to make a meme of them being dumb fucks. They all use the same tactics of acting like you, Hasan, etc. are so self-evidently wrong or rely on clip chimping and over-the-top manipulation techniques and rely on their audience to be too uncurious, naive, and parasocially attached to them to doubt them to look into them themselves. There's something terrifyingly Lovecraftian around Sex Pestity and his followers. The Orbiters feels esoteric and secretive, almost like an underground order of followers are descending into madness and gathering in the night to worship the pestilent sleeping deity. Yeah, it's exactly right. And it's just like one of those things where I legitimately, it did cook my brain for a while. It did cook my brain for a while. And it's one of the like main things people will point to or say, and I'll be like, incredible. Destiny not knowing about billionaires taking loans against their assets was an all-time clip. He's very stupid. I watched a Hasan hater on YouTube recently. The Hasan they hate is a different character completely. That's the character that Destiny and Vouch created because they can't compete. They're stupid.
We'll be going over that later as well.
Raped. As I said then, I say today, Israel has a right to defend itself.
What rapes did Hezbollah do? Bro, what rapes did Hamas do? What are you talking about? The Stop Anti-Semitism?
Just playing clips where he's objectively correct and with funny music and sound effects. Like, this guy's 40 years old, by the way.
Account that considered me to be anti-Semite of the week has also been hallucinating rapes once again, doing rape fantasies once again, because they're fucking mentally ill.
Hamas has committed horrific acts of sexual violence.
This is genuinely funny.
Women and girls, men and boys.
It's like Kamala Harris said so, Joe Biden said so, the perpetrators of the genocide said so. How could you question that? This is Ethan Klein's narrative. It is absolutely insane.
After enduring sexual violence.
That's two genocide perpetrators. That's two people responsible for killing minimum hundreds of thousands of people in Gaza. Tens of thousands of children. They massacred them. Tens of thousands of babies too. They massacred them. And Ethan Klein just plays them saying this like we should take it as evidence. Like, what's next? Are you going to play clips of fucking Adolf Hitler decrying 100% definitely real Jewish rapes to justify the Holocaust? You fucking bastard. Jesus.
This day for the Jewish people.
Doesn't matter if fucking rapes happen on October 7th. Like, that doesn't change the dynamic for me even this much. So that's the other part of this problem that many people can't contend with. Like,
I can't believe how quickly.
I just want to note that clip there. It's very obvious what he's saying if you think about it for like even half a second. It doesn't matter to him whether there were rapes on October 7th in regards to Israel's response, which is literally genociding, raping Palestinians en masse. So unless Ethan himself believes that mass genocide is a valid response if like one person was raped on October 7th, which to be clear, there's no proof of any of that. So we should just say there was none. When there's no proof, there's no need for us to concede that it might have happened or it could have happened or maybe it did happen. No, zero proof. Zero rape. That's simple. So it didn't happen. But the thing that he's saying there is, what does it matter if even one did? What does it matter? Do you think one person being raped justifies like the genocide of an entire people? Ethan Klein, is that your narrative here? It clearly is.
Leftists go from believe all women to pics or it didn't happen.
Literally, his argument here is, how dare you demand more evidence than just someone said they saw this happening? Which is the only evidence, by the way. Like, Israelis who are highly incentivized to lie, both because they get paid for doing so, which we're going to go into in a second, and because they themselves are by and large genocidal Zionists who are desperate to justify genocide. They say they totally saw this happening, so we have to uncritically believe them, because believe all women, even though, believe all women is like for victims, not people who swear up and down they saw victims who they can't actually even name, for none of which any corroborating evidence actually exists. The entire Gaza envelope area is covered in cameras, yet there's no evidence of that. And yes, obviously, video and photographic evidence should exist if this actually happened, especially on the scale that you claim it did. No forensic evidence, no nothing. Just random people, most of whom are either directly linked to the Israeli government, who have been proven to be lying already, who have been proven to be lying before even. Most of these testimonies, by the way, come from Zaka, the same organization that created the 40 beheaded babies hoax. So they come out and they swear up and down they saw some ridiculous scenario, and we're just supposed to believe that uncritically because they said so, and it's convenient for them to say so because it justifies a genocide. No, I don't believe that. Anyone who does believe that is a fucking rube who would believe Joseph Goebbels printing the same sort of shit to justify the Holocaust.
Vast majority of people, if not all, who were raped were murdered on the spot.
Who? Which one of them? Name one. He can't. They don't even have a name. They literally do not have a single name of a supposed victim. It's like unnamed person who I definitely saw being raped and murdered. Conveniently, there's no autopsy or anything. Conveniently, no one knows who they were. They have no name. How dare you don't believe these women who don't exist, who you can't even name?
Obviously.
Like, see this weaponization?
Goldstein Almog was
Look at
kidnapped
this.
from her.
This is an amazing one. This is incredible. You're going to see here just how dishonest and how much of a liar he needs to be to sustain this narrative.
Home on October 7th by Hamas terrorists and was held captive for 51 days. Though only 17 years old, she witnessed the murder of her father and sister on that day and is now speaking out about what she witnessed in Gaza as well in a new documentary by Sheryl Sandberg, Screams Before Silence.
So let's talk about that documentary, Screams Before Silence. Screams Before Silence is a documentary based almost entirely on testimonies by those same Zaka people who I talked about earlier. It is essentially Nazi genocide propaganda except for Israelis. Make shit up, make it a sad little documentary to justify it while the genocide is going on to try and justify the genocide. As you can see here in the description, the film is entirely based around the testimony of this one person who we'll be debunking very soon, don't worry, and also based around testimonies by members of Zaka and other witnesses about rape and sexual assaults on October 7th. So again, it's based on these unverifiable, made-up witness testimonies by literally fucking Zaka, like the same guys who made up the 40 beheaded babies hoax. Now let's see what Ethan Klein shows here as this person apparently being a victim of rape.
In new footage, Agam reveals that sexual assault and rape was a regular component of the life as a hostage in Gaza.
Doesn't matter if fucking rapes happen on October 7th.
He keeps playing that Hasan clip. He either completely misunderstands what he said or he thinks it's like saying, I don't care if rapes happened at all, when for one they didn't, and he's wrong for even insinuating that it's a possibility. For two, what he's saying there was that it doesn't matter if rapes happen, genocide isn't justified in response.
Maybe you would like to call her a liar. Please go right.
Here's the thing. Let me just say this. This is the one part I disagree with Bad Empanada about, which is like, I think the better. I'm not omniscient. Like I'm not omnipresent. You know what I mean? Like I don't know everything that happened, right? And just based on my knowledge of how this type of stuff happens in a actual combat zone, laws fall away, morality falls away. Right? Like things like rapes happen. They happened in every military who's ever fought, no matter how disciplined, has had soldiers go out and commit rapes. It is what it is. And I think it's irresponsible to say it didn't happen, because later, if some really incontrovertible evidence comes out, then you look like you're wrong. Right? Like you will look discreditable because you denied the possibility. And so to me, I don't need to deny the possibility, because even if rapes took place on October 7th, that wouldn't make bombing 100,000 children okay. Right? The Allies raped people. Their militaries raped people. Does that mean that the Holocaust was justified? No, of course not. Right? The United States raped. They estimate that the United States U.S. service members raped between 10 and 15,000 women in France, Italy, and Germany. Does that mean the United States of America was the bad guys in World War II? No. It just shows that when you have widespread military force happening, war happening, those type of things are going to happen. And what should happen is the government should punish those, investigate and punish the rapists. And it should work to build more controls to prevent sexual assaults and rapes from happening. It doesn't mean suddenly that the Germans were the good guys. They did far worse and did far more. And it's the same thing with the Soviet Union, the Red Army. Now, it is a Nazi talking point to make up hundreds of thousands of rapes, but we know for a fact that rapes definitely did take place. And I'm very comfortable saying that the Soviet soldiers committed sexual assaults and rapes on German population that was just as bad as what the Americans did, if not worse. There's one major exception to this rules. The Tamil tigers in Sri Lanka are notable that even in such harsh conditions, rape was cracked down upon. Contrast that with Sri Lankan army, which still rapes Tamils. I'm not saying that rape was okay in the American government, by the way. I was just saying that this is what you expect in history. So I think it's reasonable to say that in this conflict, that sexual assaults happen by Palestinians toward Israelis. I don't think you're giving up anything, because when you understand the context of war, you understand that these kind of crimes happen. This is part of the reason why war is bad, because it's a breakdown of social order. And when social order breaks down, predators, the 1 to 5% of people that are sociopathic predators, will do shit. And like, I think what Bad Empanada is saying opens us up to looking like we were wrong in the future. So I don't want to do that. That's why I have a different position than Bad Empanada. It's not that what Bad Empanada is saying is factually incorrect in what we know now. I just think it's highly probable that we're going to learn more stuff in the future that makes his position untenable. That's why I don't take it, even though I understand why he's taken this rhetorical position now. I just think he's going a little bit too far. This is our disagreement. Like, I could have a disagreement with him and respect him.
Ahead.
Doesn't matter if fucking rapes happen on October 7th.
She is a liar. Absolutely. I'll demonstrate you exactly how she's a liar.
There are dozens of testimonies from witnesses, most of who were in hiding and heard or saw
There are dozens of testimonies. That's all, just testimonies. We're supposed to uncritically believe Israelis, most of whom are literally directly linked to the government, who are fanatical genocidal Zionists. We're just supposed to take them at their word. There's no corroborating evidence for a single little thing that they say, but we just have to take them at their word. Their word, their witnesses. Trust them. They definitely saw Hamas raping men and then cutting off their penis and making them eat it while they were still alive, which, by the way, is a real testimony that they actually put forward. We're just supposed to believe them. They said so. That's it. Dude, trust them. Israeli genocidal Zionists would never lie.
happen. And each week there's more stories coming out. There's a UN report that concludes
Each week there's more stories coming out. So let's talk about first, before we go on to the UN report, this supposed witness right here. So when she was initially released, she said that Hamas treat women as if they're sacred. They don't even want to touch them. So the people who were guarding her would literally put a towel over their hand in situations where they had to touch a woman and stuff like that.
אבל אז גם כאילו שמענו את ההפצצות, אמרנו, רגע, אולי באמת הם רוצים, והוא עושה בעיות. כאילו, לפי ההפצצות ששמענו שהיו עלינו, אמרנו כאילו, בוא'נה, יש דברים חשובים יותר מאיתנו.
So, what happened here is that she made comments directly contradicting this later testimony where she said, they treated us women very well. They wouldn't even touch us. And she also made comments critical of Netanyahu. She was saying, when she heard shelling nearby, she was like, well, he doesn't really care about us at all. Those shells could hit us. And then under this pressure that she received after this, a ton of comments of hatred from Israelis, whoa, wouldn't you know, she completely changed her story to this completely uncorroborated story of witnessing, not herself being raped. She's not a rape victim, though Ethan Klein is going to claim that she is multiple times here, but claiming that she saw others being raped and sexually assaulted, other hostages. Something for which there's no corroborating evidence at all. No other hostage has come forward and said, yep, that was me. It's really obvious what happened here. She said, based on her own real experiences, when she wasn't being influenced by anyone, when she came out and she gave this first interview, they barely even touched us. They refused to even touch us, stuff like that. For them, women are sacred, blah, blah, blah. Fuck Netanyahu. And then months after that, after she received a barrage of hatred for doing so, this 18-year-old, she's 18 by the way, and after undoubtedly being offered a ton of money by Zionist businesswoman Sheryl Sandberg, she completely changed her narrative to this one, a completely unverified, uncorroborated, zero evidence testimony that directly contradicts what she said earlier. Which, to be clear, no, I don't believe. No, I will never believe. Obviously, I'm not going to uncritically believe some 18-year-old who was pressured into lying by fucking Zionists threatening to kill her on the internet because she said that Hamas aren't murderous raping apes, like what Ethan Klein believes about all Arabs. So there, easily debunked, no problem. She's lying. She's incentivized to lie, and she was pressured into lying by Zionists like you. No evidence whatsoever. And even regardless of that, Ethan Klein's talking about October 7th.
My take on this is that the credibility is not there. I think that when you're going to go ahead and use that as the absolute truth that Palestinians deserve to be killed based on something that doesn't have strong credibility, that's crazy. And, victims of sexual assaults and crimes are oftentimes ashamed. And so it's hard for me to say that she's definitively lying in the way that Bad Empanada is, because I feel like in my experience with sexual assaults and rapes and understanding the law surrounding them and the way victims act, I would not want to make such a strong statement because I just don't think it's correct to do so. It's not the right way to approach this kind of thing. That being said, the credibility of that is severely questionable based on the context and the social pressure that she's under. So I don't think that if that is the evidence you have, it's not good. It's not good.
Yeah. This was afterwards. So even if this was true, which to be clear, it is not. There's no reason to believe it whatsoever. This was after October 7th. This is not evidence of any rape or sexual assault happening on October 7th. In fact, let's say there was one rape or sexual assault on a hostage in Gaza out of the hundreds of hostages who were there. Guess what? Israeli men sexually assault Israeli women at home, domestically, at much higher rates than that. So let's talk now about this UN report that he cites here. So this UN report did not have an investigative mandate. And note in the original clip that Ethan Klein showed of Hasan Parker supposedly denying this, he said that there was no evidence of systematic mass rape by Hamas on October 7th. So the person who was in charge of this report, Pramila Patten, she was asked directly, would you say that you found a pattern of sexual violence that was a strategy of Hamas, both in the October 7th attacks and in regards to the hostages? Patten answers definitively in the negative. Oh, very simple.
In
so
other
quite
words,
clearly,
the UN person says Hamas did not do mass rapes. And it wasn't a pattern, and it wasn't a strategy. So there you have it.
Hasan was saying in the longest clip that Ethan Klein played there at the beginning is correct according to the report that he himself cites. Now let's talk about this report. So this report was not actually an investigative report.
One of the people in the video, Profound Egg, says that she was forced to perform a sexual act. One of the people in the video does say, in the Cheryl Shamburg's video, does say that she was when she was a hostage, she was forced to perform a sex act. That's what she says. So there is one person who is making that definitive argument. It wasn't in Ethan Klein's original video, but it is in that video.
Because Israel does not allow actual real UN investigations, as in like real independent detective work with free access to everyone involved, their own ability to scrutinize the evidence, the actual capacity to make real conclusions based on more than just what you've been shown by the Israeli government selectively. Israel has not allowed that to happen. This is from January 8th, 2025, reported in the Israeli newspaper Haaretz. Israel blocks UN probe into Hamas sexual crimes on October 7th to avoid inquiry into abuse of Palestinians. So quite clearly, Israel does not have much faith in the actual evidence for this supposed mass rape narrative, or even one rape narrative, for that matter. Hence, here they are, actively impeding any sort of investigation into whether it happened or not, especially because they themselves have actually committed mass rape and they definitely do not want them way better evidence for that to be uncovered. So you might ask, how exactly was this report put together? Well, Camilla Patten herself told us she was chaperoned around by the Israeli government and shown what they wanted to show her in an extremely carefully planned visit to try and ensure that she comes to the conclusions that they wanted her to. They conducted confidential interviews with 34 individuals and visited 4 attack sites, as well as a morgue, and reviewed 5,000 photographs and 50 hours of footage of the attacks. And within those 5,000 photos and 50 hours of footage, which they chose to show her, apparently just to like waste her time, because in the end she concludes that in her assessment of the available photos and videos, no tangible indications of rape could be identified. And then she noted after that the Israeli government told her that, oh no, these videos definitely exist, but they were just removed and we couldn't recover them. And then she went on to say that it is in the view of the mission team that had clear digital evidence of sexual violence or orders to commit sexual violence had been circulated in the mainstream, it would have likely been discovered given the volume of the information posted online and further recirculated, making the removal of all trace of such material quite unlikely. So Israel has, 50 hours of footage of October 7th, 5,000 photographs that they gave to this non-investigative mission, that none of which had any evidence of rape or sexual assault, but which they nonetheless gave them, like, I guess, as like a big gish gallop. Apparently didn't work, though.
Yeah, they looked at all of the video that Israel gave of the October 7th attacks, and there wasn't any rape or sexual assault in it. Oops. They thought the UN people would be lazy. They thought the UN people would just take their word for it. But when they actually went through the evidence, there wasn't any proof. That's crazy. Did you see what the White House posted for Valentine's Day? No.
It did work overall because the conclusion of this was that there are reasonable grounds to believe conflict-related sexual violence occurred. Reasonable grounds to believe. This means basically nothing. This was a non-investigative trip headed by ran by one single person, with the whole experience totally 100% curated by the Israeli government. And this reasonable grounds to believe is based on nothing but unverified anonymous testimonies that the Israeli government put forward when she visited, none of which had ever been heard by the public before this happened, which was literally 6 months after the Gaza genocide began, when Israel was in the middle of a massive propaganda blitz, desperately trying to justify that genocide with this mass rape hoax. The first thing that they went with was the 40 beheaded babies hoax, and when that didn't stick, they moved on to the mass rape hoax a month or so later. And suddenly, now that you could get famous and make a lot of money in Israeli society by coming forward with a fake story of how you 100% definitely saw mass rapes on October 7th, a bunch of people were happy to come forward with this, and the Israeli state was very happy to use the bullshit they made up to justify their genocide. All of this is generic, colonial, racist, atrocity propaganda to justify genocide. This has a long history. From the American colonial frontier, where bullshit stories of Indians mass raping beautiful, pure white women were used to justify their massacre, to the US South, where lynchings of black people based on nothing more than made up bullshit about them supposedly touching white women inappropriately and shit like that was used to kill them, and to Nazi Germany itself, where stories of supposed subhumans soiling the race by raping Aryan women was used to justify their genocide. It's merely a continuation of the same exact trope, no evidence, made up bullshit, genocidal Zionists saying, I definitely saw this, stories that have changed a million times, none of which corroborate each other, absolutely zero evidence beyond just the word of obviously unreliable people who have incentives to lie. It is utter and complete bullshit, obviously. And that is why people like Ethan Klein here rely on little more than scolding. Like, how dare you say this? You don't believe women? You don't believe this supposed witness who changed her story after being mass harassed by genocidal Israeli Zionists, which obviously would have been corroborated by...
This is my Valentine to all of you, chat. You hold up half of my sky. This is my Valentine to you, chat.
Other hostages if it was true, because obviously for her to witness hostages being raped or sexually assaulted, there would have to be people who were raped or sexually assaulted, yet not a single one of them has corroborated this. So who knows, maybe in the future, if they're offered enough money, someone will come out and lie about it.
Hasan needs a rape kit from a mutilated body. It's so vile to deny.
Like, this idea that Israel could not have done forensic analysis of the bodies of October 7th is absolutely insane, by the way. Not only is literally the whole area totally covered in cameras, to the point where if this happened, there would at least be some sort of video evidence indicating it. But yes, Israel did have total control of the entire Gaza envelope within 24 hours of the attack. It is absolutely reasonable to expect them to fucking do autopsies on the bodies. But they didn't, did they? Obviously, because for one, this didn't happen, and for two, they themselves are trying to cover up what actually happened, because as was admitted recently by Yoav Gallant, the Israelis massacred a whole lot of the victims themselves. Here is the Israeli defense minister at the time outright admitting this.
רואה את השיירות חוצות את הגדר עם חטופים ישראלים, גם לשאול מה עובר לך בראש, וגם נוהל חניבל זה משהו שאתם חושבים עליו באותו רגע?
נוהל חניבל, רק נגיד, הנוהל שאומר לירות על מנת להרוג כאשר יש רכב עם חטוף ישראלי.
אני רוצה שתבינו שהיכולת של שר ביטחון לתת הוראות אופרטיביות בלוח זמנים שהכל קורה היא דבר מאוד מוגבל.
ניתנה הוראה לנוהל חניבל?
אני חושב שבאופן טקטי במקומות שונים ניתנה.
So this is a way, another way of Yoav Gallant, war criminal that Hila Klein said was a good person, but later apologized for saying that when it looks bad. I think Hila Klein said he was a good guy, and then he was indicted by the International Criminal Court like 2 days later. So it was very funny. Good timing. He's saying that Israel killed their own people. That's what this is. That's what they're saying. They confirms army orders to kill Israelis.
There you go. The Israelis outright admitted that they killed their own civilians on October 7th, hence them not doing anything resembling a thorough analysis of the bodies to find the actual cause of death and the actual perpetrators, because they themselves killed a lot of the people who they want to attribute to being killed by Hamas. So no, we should not fall for this shaming tactic that Ethan Klein is using here. We should not let them scold us. These people are disgusting, genocidal maniacs. What they want to do here is justify genocide with made-up bullshit, black propaganda, Goebbels-style Durstürmer garbage. What? How dare you don't believe these people? How dare you demand actual evidence beyond just this one person saying it happened, who changed her story multiple times from earlier when she initially said the exact opposite until she was mass harassed and financially incentivized to do so. Like, that's the whole narrative here. It's nothing more than bullshit. How dare you? How dare you? How dare you? When people do that to you, you don't fall into line. You laugh in their face. Don't give them any water. Don't say, something might have happened. I just don't see enough evidence for it. No, say, you have no evidence for this, and I'm not going to buy it just because you say so, just because you pretend to be outraged. You are a genocidal Zionist attempting to justify genocide. Of course I'm not going to believe you, and of course I'm not going to believe others like you who say they directly saw shit that they obviously did not actually see. There would have been ample evidence of this by now. To give you a comparison of how much evidence there should be, we have evidence of Palestinians being mass raped in a concentration camp by Israelis. We have video of it, literally, of the systemic mass rape of Palestinians by Israel. Actual video evidence of this. Okay? That's what this article is. Video of sexual abuse at Israeli prison is just latest evidence, city time, and it's a torture site. So we have actual video evidence of this. Real, 100% video evidence. And we are supposed to believe that this video could be smuggled out of a fucking top secret Israeli concentration camp prison, yet Israel cannot provide us with a single piece of video or photographic evidence of this supposed sexual assault on October 7th. They have cameras covering the whole fucking area, like one of the most surveilled places in the entire world, and they do not have any video evidence of that, but we have video evidence of their mass rape of Palestinians? Okay, I'm going to be very diplomatic here. I'm going to be as diplomatic as possible in saying this. No, that's simply not true. They have no evidence because it didn't happen. We have evidence because it did happen. Despite all the difficulties in recovering it, despite how easy it would be for them to show evidence if they had it, they don't have it. So we should assume they don't have it. It's been more than a year now. 15 months, 16 months. And you don't have shit. It's because it didn't happen. It's that simple. They will surely try to invent evidence. They will find more and more people who are willing to lie years later. Oh, I definitely saw this. It's all going to be just as fake as it always was. They have no evidence. Claims made with no evidence can be discarded out of hand, especially in this case. They replace evidence, proof, with shaming because they are genocide propagandists. Ethan Klein is a genocide propagandist. His wife, Hila Klein, is a terrorist. Oh, fucking course they're going to spread this garbage. They want Palestinians dead. They want them dead. They love it when babies die. It's that simple.
I mean, like, to back up what he's saying here, did you see the way Ethan Klein acted when the Donald Trump said he wanted to ethnically cleanse Gaza? He was smiling. He was smiling. He was like, I didn't know. Look what's happening to the Gazans. Ooh, this is all Hasan's fault. He was giddy. He wants that to happen. And he wants it to happen and be able to blame those of us who fought against it. And that's his dream. The ultimate fascist, bad faith, liar dream.
The suffering and trauma of the victims just because you need your heroes
which victims
at Hamas to be perfect. This conflict will never end until people realize that
this conflict will never end until American settlers like you go home and stop talking about the country that you stole from the Palestinians.
Liberation and Israeli security are not mutually
Israeli security. Israel is a country that is completely built on the massacre, rape, imprisonment, genocide of Palestinians, and he's like, Israeli security is not mutually exclusive of Palestinian liberation. Palestinian liberation means the state of Israel is gone, means they get their land back, means your ethnic privileges are gone. There was not a state of Israel with that. There is no, this identity Israeli does not exist with that. So yes, obviously these are mutually exclusive. You want to keep Palestinians oppressed for your own benefit.
Exclusive. You need both. And it can be done, but not while people like Hasan lie, propagate.
He's literally lying and propagandizing here by presenting this obvious bullshit testimony, if it's true, as his only evidence in a UN report that he mischaracterized.
And incite hate. It's people like him, ironically, that prolong the conflict indefinitely.
You moved to Israel from the USA. You chose to move to Israel to receive ethnic privileges at the cost of Palestinians. Oh, man.
There's no space for conversation. There's no space for rational thought. There's no space for nuance.
What an idiotic rant. Like, he moves on as if he's proven his claim of mass rape with nothing but this obviously made-up bullshit testimony of an 18-year-old who was pressured into lying after her initial testimony where she said that nothing bad happened to her or other women, got her death threats.
Palestine is like 5 degrees off from where Hasan is. And to him and his community...
He does not... This is actually crazy. Like, there's no evidence at all. It's so bad. Now, Ethan was called out for this lying before, and his reaction was to directly claim that this person, this hostage who who's peddled this made-up story of having witnessed Hamas supposedly raping hostages, which again would not have happened on October 7th, even if it was true, and thus wouldn't substantiate Ethan's claim. And two, she was obviously lying given how her story changed after receiving pressure from genocidal Israelis to change it. But this was his reaction to him being called out for lying about this.
Kidnapped from her home on October 7th by Hamas terrorists and was held captive for 51 days. Though only 17 years old, she witnessed the murder of her father and sister on that day and is now speaking out about what she witnessed in Gaza as well in a new documentary by Sheryl Sandberg.
Pretty amazing to
Screams
be
Before
immediately
Silence.
disproven. She goes, I wouldn't believe it unless it was firsthand. Here's a 17-year-old whose family was murdered in front of her and she was kidnapped for 50 days and continually raped while being in captivity.
She never claimed that. Not in the clips that Ethan Klein showed, and not in general. She claimed to have seen others. As I already went over this, obviously. He's just straight up making shit up here about her. He didn't even say that she was raped in his video, just sort of insinuated it. He showed her speaking for like 10 seconds and cut out the rest. And then and now he's saying outright, she claims to have been raped. No, she does not. And she is directly contradicting what she said earlier. This is exactly what I said. It's just straight up shaming. It's just shaming, scolding you, fake outrage in replacement of actual evidence. Ethan Klein doesn't even know what he uses evidence here. It did not register what she actually said, what she actually claimed. He did not even think to look into whether what she was saying was true or not. He did not even think into looking into whether her testimony was contradicted with what she had said earlier, whether there may be pressures and incentives for her to lie. No. All that Ethan Klein thought about was, I need propaganda to justify the genocide that I support. And this is what he came up with.
Nothing to say?
Nothing. This guy is so fucking dumb and he's so confident that he's not dumb. It's insane. Holy fuck.
You're not going to fucking acknowledge what just happened?
You didn't show... What do you think happened?
She will, to say that she's lying. This is a disgusting human being.
You see what I'm saying? Just shaming.
Vile fucking piece of shit.
In new footage, Agam reveals that
Get off the fucking Ozempic, you addict.
Sexual assault and rape was a regular component of the life as a hostage in Gaza.
Doesn't matter if fucking rapes happen on October 7th.
Hasan, maybe you would like to call her a liar. Please.
Hey, it's funny. I go, Hasan,
she is a liar.
Go ahead and call her a liar. Here's a first-hand account. And she's like, hold my beer, or whatever that meme is. Hold my fucking rape kit. I'll do it. God damn it. Somebody's got to call her a liar. I'll step up to the challenge.
Such a great example of how I led this video. Shaming and insistence that you are right as a replacement of evidence. If this guy was confronted live, this is why he'll never speak to me live, he would fall over fucking crying in 2 seconds when confronted with the evidence that, for one, she was not saying she was raped. Why do you keep insisting that she was saying she was raped? And for two, there's clear evidence that she just lied, given that she changed her story after receiving massive pressure from Israeli society, and she was financially incentivized to do so by a businesswoman who funded a documentary to peddle the mass rape pro-genocide hoax.
I will accept this task. This bitch is lying.
Go right ahead.
Doesn't matter if fucking rapes happen on October 7th.
There are dozens of testimonies from witnesses.
She thinks it's funny. Imagine hearing that and smiling.
This guy is just such a disgusting freak, isn't he?
And as pro-Palestine as you fucking can possibly be. What's funny about a 17-year-old, an innocent 17-year-old whose family was murdered in front of her, kidnapped for 50 days, and continually raped in captivity?
He's just going to repeat that? He's just going to repeat that? She never even claimed that.
What's funny about that? Because she's Israeli?
Okay, that was fun.
She's 17 years old. She was born there. Her family was murdered in front of her. And
you weren't born there.
People like her and Hasan and everyone in his fucking orbit can't spare one shred of decency.
But here's the thing with Ethan Klein that's really weird. Is like, we have time and time again said that we abhor civilian casualties and that the best way to secure peace is a one-state solution of freedom of conscience, of democracy, of human rights, of compensation for and the right of return, right? Like, that's what we want. We want to see a single state where Jews and Arabs and Palestinians and Christians and everybody can live in equal and harmony in a liberal, pluralistic state. That's what we want. That's what we advocate for. Ethan Klein, you don't want that. Ethan Klein, you don't want Palestinians to be able to have the right of return. You don't want Palestinians to be human, have the rights. You are the person. Oh,
Shred of humanity.
This is what he's worrying about, by the way. Lying about what this person who is already lying about having witnessed rape said to paint her as a rape victim herself.
She's going to smile at that. Most of who were in hiding
Look how
and
happy
heard
she
or
is.
saw it happen. And each week there's more stories coming out. There's a UN report that concludes it happened. Doesn't matter. But Hasan needs a rape kit from a
There's
mutilated...
a UN report that concludes it happened. No, there's not. We already went over that.
Wait, wasn't this disproven?
Yes, it was.
Was this clip from her disproven? Is he going to play the clip of her saying anything?
No, he's not.
What do you need her to say? What is she going to say? Oh, I was lying. What do you expect her to say? I said I was raped, but I was lying.
She never even said that she was raped. We've seen enough, haven't we? In conclusion here, Israel blocks UN probe into supposed Hamas sexual crimes from October 7 to avoid inquiring into abuse of Palestinians. It's clear who was actually mass raped. It was Palestinians at the hands of Israel. There is no evidence even remotely comparable to the evidence for that, or the supposed Hamas mass rape. Ethan and Gila Klein, who is a terrorist, by the way, Gila Klein is a terrorist, are trying to do genocide-enabling propaganda for Israel. And they're doing it so shoddily and stupidly. I genuinely can't believe that Ethan Klein played that clip of that hostage claiming to have seen other people being sexually assaulted, and then after having supposedly analyzed his source, supposedly knowing what it says, he just frames her as a rape victim herself based on nothing more than her word that doesn't exist, by the way. She never said that. I'm honestly just gobsmacked anyway. Ethan Klein destroyed again. See you next time.
Honest to God, like Bad Empanada, he does the work. It's crazy. When you tell Ethan this, he literally responds by saying that Hamas is uniquely evil. He's a disgusting race. I mean, the thing about Hamas is I don't support Hamas. You know who supports Hamas? Benjamin Netanyahu and the Israeli government. They spent money supporting Hamas to divide the Palestinians from West Bank and Gaza from each other, to prevent them from forming a coherent, unified Palestinian state, which is what they're opposed to. And Ethan Klein tries to pretend like he's opposed to Benjamin Netanyahu while supporting the people that are part of his coalition. He tries to have his cake and eat it too. Anyone who wants to thwart the establishment of a Palestinian state has to support bolstering Hamas and transferring money to Hamas. Netanyahu told his Likud party Knesset members in March 2019, "This is part of our strategy." You know who's pro-Hamas? Benjamin Netanyahu. But again, Ethan Klein doesn't care about any of this. He just wants Palestinians to be put in their little concentration camps, ethnically cleansed and destroyed.
So anyway, back to Marx.
You want to talk about? We still have this DJ Academic stuff. Getting a little.
Mao
old,
was a dumb bitch. What the fuck did he do? Actually, he did a lot. He helped China a lot, but at what cost? He did a lot for China, I think. I don't know a lot about it. That being said, he probably killed a lot of people too.
He did.
Yeah. Name a communist leader that hasn't killed thousands of people. I'll wait. Name a communist leader that hasn't killed thousands of people. I'll wait.
Name a
Crickets?
U.S. president that hasn't killed thousands of people. I'll wait.
Ooh. I mean,
I'll wait.
Hold on.
I'm waiting.
That is the saddest fucking whataboutism bullshit. Communism is like a uniquely fucking heinous, deadly.
God.
Like, you could, first of all, there's a lot of more presidents than communist leaders. I mean, I don't know enough about each president, but I'm sure there's a long list of presidents that haven't killed thousands of people. A long list.
U.S. presidents?
Yeah.
No, there isn't.
Okay. All right, let's see. Let's see, Dan. I mean, and like communists are like doing genocides on their own people, killing like
What?
millions of people. Like, that comparison is so fucking lame, bro. I don't know why you got to run defense for these fucking despots. Let's see. Any U.S.
By the way, look at the smog in the background. Oof. Why does Ethan like? And this is, by the way, Chad. This is why Ethan Klein is a dumbass. In a nutshell, this is why Ethan Klein's a dumbass. He makes a statement, has no idea what he's talking about, and then he goes to Google to try to confirm his pre-existing belief. That's not how intelligent people think, Ethan. When they don't know shit, they don't say shit, and then Wikipedia it second. They don't chat GPT it afterwards. They don't rationalize. They don't have a conclusion and then look for evidence.
Ethan's been real quiet since Dan dropped his response.
What do you mean? I'm looking at it. I don't know everything about every president.
I'm kidding.
John Adams avoided war with France. Thomas Jefferson, well, he made
the slave owner who raped his slaves.
Yeah, he had other problems.
Let's see. I mean, there's a lot of them. It's a long list. There's been a lot of presidents, starting from the beginning.
Calvin Coolidge, good guy.
I mean, William Henry Harrison died a few months in office, so he didn't have time.
Okay, yeah, I know. You know what? I concede that one.
Zachary Taylor did not lead any wars as president. Died in office. Millard Fillmore pursued diplomacy with Japan and.
Millard Fillmore. Millard Fillmore.
I mean, William Henry Harrison.
He's literally never heard who William Henry Harrison or Millard Fillmore are.
Died a few months in office, so he didn't have time.
Okay, yeah, I know. You know what? I concede that one.
Zachary Taylor did not lead any wars as president. Died in office.
Why did Zachary Taylor get elected? Why did he get elected? What was his big argument? Ron, Ethan Klein. The answer to that, in case you want to know, is he was a famous Mexican-American war general who helped America invade Mexico and steal almost a half of their territory. You dumb piece of shit! He was literally an imperial, like, we literally did an aggressive war on Mexico to steal half their shit. You're using President Tyler as an example of a peacenik, you fucking dumbass, or Taylor, excuse me. You dumb fucking piece of shit.
Millard Fillmore pursued diplomacy with Japan and largely avoided military conflict. Jimmy Carter is cited as a president who has never started a war.
He supported the genocide. Suharto. Jimmy Carter championed human rights, but also funded and armed Indonesia's genocide in East Timor. Again, this is why, like, debating with, like, you can't have a conversation with Ethan Klein on politics. That's not how he does his nuke video research. Incredible stuff. Incredible stuff.
most peaceful modern president, focused on diplomacy, human rights, and avoided major military
He
conflict.
also supported the Iranian Shah, who was a dictatorship with secret police, while the United States was doing all sorts of like evil Cold War shit all over the world.
Thoughts?
Some good points. Hey, yo,
Also,
Dan-
not all violence is bad. There's some violence that is justified when you're talking about state-on-state shit. Okay? You can't just be like, oh, well, presidents have killed people, therefore communist fucking genociders are dope. You know what I mean?
Who said that?
Well, you kind of implied it, because I was like...
No, I didn't.
I said communist fucking leaders are responsible for killing thousands of people, and you said name a president that hasn't done that. And I'm like, well, I mean...
Well, right. Exactly, Ethan. So if killing thousands of people is justifiable, then you using it as a reason that communism is bad is not viable, right? You have to show why this communist regime did this atrocity, which therefore, why would that even matter, right? Like, America is a slave society built on genocide and aggressive imperialist war. We killed millions of indigenous people. We dropped nuclear bombs on civilian cities. We have supported genocides all over the world, like in East Timor, Jimmy Carter, one of the people you brought up. We have committed crime after crime. We're involved in 17 covert wars right now. And we're also supporting a genocide in Gaza. What are you talking about, man?
I mean, it's not that simple. But I just named a lot.
Those every single one of those. I mean, what was the other one? Millard Fillmore. Fuck. He's like, it's almost stereotypically boring. Basically, Millard Fillmore was considered a terrible president because he destroyed the Whig Party, because he wouldn't say anything about he wouldn't fight against slavery. So that's what led to the destruction of the Whig. He's basically the Whig Party's Joe Biden. I think it's the best way to explain it. Where he basically set up the country for civil war because he wouldn't address the crisis over slavery. So if you think that means he's a good and he passed the Fugitive Slave Act. So if you think that's a good guy, the guy who set America up for a fucking civil war because he forced northern states to try to enforce slavery against their will, you think that's your good that's your good president? That's the good president? You have an imperialist general who slaughtered Mexicans to steal their territory. You have the guy that passed the Fugitive Slaves Act, and you have Jimmy Carter who did the genocide in East Timor. Those are your good presidents. You fucking dumbass that you chat GPT'd. Shut your fucking mouth. Do you think Ethan Klein blames capitalism for the millions of people that starve to death every year? Do you think he goes, capitalism is refuted because millions of people are starving to death every year under capitalism? Do you think he goes like, there is a famine, there's millions of people are starving right now, therefore capitalism is invalid? Or does he go, well, that's just how things go sometimes? Every single person who dies under a so-called communist regime is the fault of and was murdered by the leaders of the communism. But all the people who die under capitalism, that's just natural. That's the Ethan Klein brain. A objective person says people who die because of the social conditions within a society are the responsibility of that society. That includes people who starved to death in the Great Leap Forward under Mao. That's true. They are the responsibility of the Communist Party of China. That is why did that happen? There's a lot of complications. One of the reasons why the United States would not allow food aid to China, because they were trying to destroy the government. They were trying to cause an economic crisis to make it worse so that the Communist Party fell. Is America partially responsible for the genocide then? Or the deaths? I would say so. I would say if you know innocent people are starving and you starve them because you want to overthrow their government, you are partially responsible. Here, and I even did it with Google AI. The U.S. and its allies imposed sanctions on China after the establishment of the communist rule in 1949. And like, that is the reality. So it's like, oh man, look at all these communist regimes fail. I'm going to do everything I can to try to destroy these communist regimes.